Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 18 of What If Naruto Awakened the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was given abilities by 4 devils and enjoyed that over on Anime King, guys. And over on Anime King 2, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto had a new dream that will change everything. So go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2 and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last part we left off, Konan found herself incredibly nervous, as she couldn't believe what happened. After everything, they finally slept together, as she woke up in the same bed as him. As Naruto woke up as well, as both of them spoke. She didn't even know what to do, as she was at a complete loss. But that comforting smile of his, always, made her calm. But there was also something he wanted to tell her. We then had a time skip, as the ATL had been sealed, as the body of Killer Bee fell down to the ground. After a few seconds, as Kisame was saying something, there was a sudden poof. The Gedo statue was gone. Madara was fuming what the hell happened. Nagato wasn't one behind this and you only knew someone else with the Rinnegan that can do this. Nagato tried to resummon the statue but he could not, no matter what he did. As he went off, cutting off the communication to go and speak Naruto himself. As Madara turned towards Kisame, Kisame already knew who's under that mask. As Kisame told him that he was the original leader anyway, so he will follow him until the end. As Madara appreciated Kisame's loyalty, Konan had made her way back towards the Hinrin as Nagato saw her coming. He quickly sent out his paths. As he asked her where is he, she told him that Naruto was still at Osu. Before she could prolong anything, he asked her a question. Do you love him? He has been seeing her acting different lately, and he realized it was because of her feelings for Naruto. And that surprised him at first. But Konan, being one of his closest friends, he just wanted to see her happy. But if Naruto get in his way, he could not allow something like that. Konan begged him not to do anything stupid before he talked to Naruto, but he was already summoned away by the animal path, as he had to stay in close connection towards his paths. Naruto was waiting as he arrived on the ocean side, as the both of them went into a heated argument until Madara arrived. He was done waiting, he was done playing the naive fool. It was time that he put his action in motion, as he was thinking one step ahead of them already. Not to mention as he showed them Konan that was captured. Konan couldn't believe it, she was so engrossed in her thoughts. She didn't even see coming an explosion that blinded her sight, and then she was sucked away in a swirling vortex by him. But Naruto had already planned for all of this, as he summoned Konan out of the place. Madara was a bit shocked by that, as Konan had a seal on her, and he never checked for it. Well, it's not like he could remove the Funjo's art. He couldn't even enter Uzu because of the seal, as it was preventing him from entering. So he didn't have any leverage on Naruto at the moment, but he did have something else, as he let it slip about where he was going for the 5 Kage meeting that was currently taking place right now, as he made his way off. Not before showing them what happened at the Hinrin, as explosions after explosions. As he went away with Kisame, as Naruto told them to go towards the Hinrin and sort things out there as he head towards where the meeting was taking place. As the meeting was going on, they were interrupted as he had brought Sasuke along with him as well. The plan was rather easy: get the other villagers to turn against Konoha and kill the Hokage. And all of that would be blamed on Naruto, seeing that the two bodyguards with the Hokage will be dead as well. So they would have another force to wipe out Naruto with, as he was going to be playing the innocent one in this, showing them that Naruto is a threat and the Hokage is on his side. He came there and played that bullshit as Raikage and Tsuchikage turned to say something, but the wall exploded. Two bodies being thrown violently. It was Jugo and Sugetsu as Naruto stepped inside, as he had on the armor that was specially crafted for him. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought you guys can switch across the page and check it for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. It has been so long since he last saw his village with his own eyes. He saw the eyes of the Prida path. He saw through his other paths. But it has been so long since he stood out in the open looking at his own village. Why did it take him so long to do this? And now, look what he was looking at. Utter chaos. At the moment, Nagato was in his mechanical walker. The walker on its 4 legs that were embedded in the stone ground. But they were not standing on just any stone ground, they were standing on the side of a building that had been collapsed. Yes. Buildings were all over the place that had been collapsed down. The explosion had really shook the hidden rain. Many had died. Some of them had survived, but many were scarred for the tragic event. He felt like he failed. He was supposed to be their god watching over them, and yet he let this happen. At the moment, no one was in the area that he was, as he could stand out here freely, showing his exposed body to the world. As his skin was rather pale, his cheeks sunk, his hair not looking so flourished, it was most likely grey. But he still stood there, his eyes showing power, the power that he holds within. As he looked over his city, he didn't even notice it. Konan turned, as she saw a single tear slip from his eye. This is not your fault. Don't blame yourself. It is my fault, he said. If I hadn't been so naive and foolish, perhaps I could have worked with both you and Naruto and end Madara a long time ago. But I was too caught up, too naive to understand. I said, don't blame yourself, said Konan. She turned towards him fully, as he noticed the tears running down her cheek as well. The only thing they wanted to do was to protect the hidden rain. That was their lifelong goal, their missions. But now, as she had saw the bodies that were taken away, so many of their people lying dead after what happened, as she blamed herself despite the situation, yes. If she had just listened to Naruto back then, come to terms and tried to change Nagato's mind, perhaps all of this could have been avoided. Yet still they lost. They lost so many people. They lost the home that they once tried to protect. As Nagato stood there, he remembered Yaiko's words. I'm going to bring peace to the hidden rain one day and stop all this violence and war and chaos. He did that, but now all of that was for naught, as everything was in ruins. As he lowered his head, as he just didn't know what to do right now. He then felt an arm placed on his shoulder as he looked up. I told you, this is not your fault. Things will get better. We still have most of our people. Despite the ones that we have lost, we still haven't fallen. Despite the village being in shambles, we will protect our remaining people and guide them towards true peace. Nagato didn't say anything, as he just stood there looking at her. As Konan gave him a smile, at this crucial moment, I want you to believe in me. I want you to say that we can do it. I want my best friend to say it, she said. So, do you believe, she asked. The words slowly came out of his mouth. I believe, he said, as she gave him another beautiful smile. Then, we will do it, she said. Meanwhile, that was going on at the Land of Iron. The moment the figure broke the wall down, his appearance was easily recognizable. The Raikage wasted no time, as he remembered this boy stepping into his village and fleeing. This was now the perfect chance. His fist caught back Tsunade's eyes went wide because she saw Naruto was not moving. Before she could say a word though, the fist slammed into Naruto's chest with a force that shook the wall. Seeing that Naruto was already holding onto the wall by pulling himself inside the hole that he just created through using Jugo and Suigetsu's body. The right Kage saw that he didn't go down, so he pulled back his other fist and smashed it once again. A barrage of punches. But to his surprise, he felt his arm begin to feel a bit bruised. It was then that Naruto's clothing started to light up. Before, boom! A force slammed into the Raikage. A force not by Naruto doing, but from what he was wearing. The force sent him sailing as he crashed through the meeting table, breaking it in half, as his head smashed along the wall. But despite that, the man pulled himself up quickly, looking a bit dazed, as his two guards stepped beside him. The man stood there as he couldn't understand what just happened. You people wiped out the Uzumaki because of what you fear. And know that fear is being used against you, said Naruto, as he stepped inside full for them to see what was going on. As Naruto was wearing a crimson armor along his chest plate. But how was he able to stand up to those heavy blows? That was surely impossible, right? They then saw it. The armor was covered in steel. There were even metal plates around his arms that were glowing as well. His entire body was covered in a slick armor. It was more durable than it looked. It was made from the chakra chain of the Uzumaki clan, and it was inscribed with so much seal. One of those seal was to take shock impact and then release it after a certain amount of time. That was what the Raikage received at that moment, all of his punches being slammed back into him. As Naruto's eyes set towards Sasuke, who clenched his fists. I warned you about joining him, Sasuke, and you still went against my wishes. Went against your wishes? I want nothing more than to kill you, said Sasuke after what you did. I was hoping that you would see the light and stop your foolish behavior. But this is not a warning. I'm just telling you something now. If you get in my way, you'll die. The Raikage used that moment to shot forward, as he didn't care what the hell was going on. This boy, he needs to take him out right now. Naruto had enough of the man. As tails lashed out, the Raikage twisted on his feet though, as he shot his hand around to grab Naruto's neck, only for it to be stopped. His fingers literally bent back, causing the man pain as he didn't understand what was going on. As Tsunade noticed Naruto's eyes were glowing, it was then that Darui shot forward his blade, slicing through the ear to take off Naruto's head. As C started to focus his chakra to put Naruto under a genjutsu. Enough, said Naruto, as a pulse released from his body, blowing everyone away. Despite the situation that most of them were not involved in at the moment, as they landed distance as the wall shook, hundreds of possible samurais started to flood the area. As all of them couldn't fit inside the room, they started to surround the outside the wall as well. Mifune raised his hand, stopping them from doing anything yet. What is your intentions of coming here? He said. I only wish to talk, said Naruto. From what I know, this place is a neutrality area, where Kages can speak to one another. Kage, said the Raikage as he glared towards Naruto. You think that you're some kind of Kage? Of course I am. I'm the Uzukage, said Naruto as he glanced towards the Raikage. You think that watered down, small, measly amount of people, and you being their leader, make you think that you're on the same level as us? Well, given the fact that I can kill you right now, and not even bat an eye, it seems that way, Naruto said. As Naruto glanced towards the masked man, you're awfully silent. Tell me, did your bullshit work? Well, you call it bullshit, but I'm just stating the facts. Oh? Let me guess, you told them that I'm the threat here. You want to work with them, said Naruto as he glanced around. Tishikage, Raikage, as both of them glared at Naruto, as he said it with no respect at all. Do you know this man claims to be Madara Uchiha? That caught everyone in the room off guard, as the man never introduced himself as such. What? Said Mei. She was pissed off to see that boy here after what he did to Mizu, and she wanted him dead. But Madara Uchiha? Snappy glanced over. My grandfather fought Mother Uchiha a long time ago. That wouldn't be possible. He should be dead by old age if anything. And my grandfather killed him. So this man is a liar using the name of that man. Hokage, there you go again speaking when you don't know what you're talking about. Snappy clenched her fist, but she knew that attacking him was pointless and the right Kage had tried it, and he simply made him pass through him. Kakashi narrowed his eyes as he saw the man's eye inside the mask. His eyes widened as he had his head bent up. A Sharingan? The masked man glanced towards Kakashi as Kakashi focused on the eye hole. Sasuke's hand started to twitch towards his blade, as he didn't know what the hell was going on now that Naruto was here. Mifune cleared his throat. Uzukage, he said as he turned towards Naruto, to be invited at this table to take a seat. The other Kages must see you as a Kage. And at the moment, he glanced towards them. I think that you won't win that vote. I'm not here to ask for permission or anything, said Naruto. I am the Uzukage, and I don't give a damn about who wants to believe it or not. And I didn't came here to talk about pleasantries. I came here to make good on my threat. First of all, as Naruto glanced towards the masked man, you destroyed the Hidden Rain. That was the wrong thing to do at this crucial moment. No doubt Nagato will want you dead, as I do at the moment. Well, that isn't a surprise. But he still has what belongs to me. Last time I failed to get what I wanted, but this time I won't fail. You look at me like you expect me to give you something, or you expect to get it from Nagato. I'll tell you now. You will have to kill me first, and I don't see any possibility of that happening. You're quite cocky, aren't you? It's not cockiness when you can back it up, said Naruto. You think that you're the big mastermind here, the ones that is calling all the shot, just because you have those two beside you. You think that can work against me. You don't know what I have planned, boy, said Madara. You think that you're strong, but even the strong and the mighty fall in front of an army. Well, go and bring your army, said Naruto. I'll take every single one of them myself and slaughter them before I kill you last. I want you to see that all of your hopes and dreams are going to result into nothing. Because if you think you're getting that Gedo statue, you'll have to rip my eyes from my sockets, or Nagato's, and I assure you none of that is going to happen. I know what you're planning. I couldn't understand at first because the images were vague. But I now understand you want to bring back the Jobe. The masked man's eyes widened under his mask. That tree in Taki was once a sapling of the Jobe. Whatever that tree is, it was once a piece of a greater tree that formed that monster. And that is what the 9 Bijus are created out of, if I'm correct. I suppose you want to get that power for yourself, but I'm afraid with the Gedo statue you can't do any of that, whatever your twisted plan is. And in order to get that, you need my eyes, or Nagato, to summon it. And as you can see, without my eyes it will never work. I can stop Nagato from summoning it, so I'm the only one that can control it. So I am your target, and I want you to come after me. Just try and take my eyes, said Naruto, as he dared the masked man to move. But he didn't move a single muscle. As he glanced towards Naruto, something was telling him not to do anything at the moment. What was this? Was this fear? Why should he fear this pathetic boy? It's not like he could touch him or anything. But he glanced towards Naruto's clothing as he looked at the seals. Fuin Jutsu was a tricky thing, and if not careful, even the mightiest can be defeated. A coward, just like I thought, said Naruto. And if I were to... Naruto flashed across the room as the masked man quickly sucked himself in a sword and vortex. Kisame smirked as he brought Samihata down, only for Naruto to bring up his hand and blocked it as the ground cracked under his feet. Kisame smirked. Faster and stronger this time. I'm done with this old talking crap. What do you say you and I have a go at it? After all, if someone's gonna go down, the best way to go down is fighting. Sasuke pulled his blade, seeing the perfect opportunity for the humiliation that Naruto gave him as he swung his blade, seeing that Naruto was distracted. Only for Naruto Tails to emerge and smack away Sasuke's blade. Sasuke leaped back just in time as Naruto Tails turned hard as steel and stabbed where his heart was supposed to be. As they ripped through the air, Naruto then sent his tails towards Kisame, who leaped back as they destroy a section of the wall. As Naruto narrowed his eyes dangerously, "If you're gonna fight, take this outside and out of my conscious and Mifune. This was not a place for fighting, and you wouldn't allow this in here," as all of his samurais got themselves ready to force them out. The masked man then appeared at the entrance. As Naruto calmed himself a bit, he then turned towards the other Kages. This world has been corrupted for far too long, twisted beyond imaginations. Things need to change. And by doing so, Naruto glanced towards Kage who has been rather silent. The old leaders need to die. The Kage narrowed his eyes dangerously. The Raikage is the same, as Mei glanced towards Naruto. Her body already tensing to fight. As you all can see, he's against you all. And he also has the power to destroy anything he comes against. The best course of action right now is to take him out before he causes too much problem, said Madara with a smirk. So, the best course of action is to join forces together and rid this world of Naruto Uzumaki once and for all. I know that the Mizukage, the Kage, and the Raikage are still on that side. The side that wishes to see the world prevails. So, how about you, Hokage-sama? Kazekage-sama, he said, saying that in a rather mocking tone, trying to greet them with respect. Gaara narrowed his eyes, as he hadn't said anything up to this point. His siblings were standing beside him. He finally spoke. "Naruto, what do you intend to do?" he said. "I told you once, Gaara, that you have to make a choice. My friend, want to bomb all of the major villages with a weapon that is so immense that none of you can stand up to it. But I say now that that plan has a few holes in it, because it doesn't matter what happens, you people will never stop. That is why all Kages will be stripped of their position. All major villages will be broken down. All major forces will be breaking apart. No longer would one village has such power to wage war against any minor village. And in such, I will eradicate all war, all negativity. I will personally see it fit to annihilate every single missing ninja from this world. All of them, all of the new ones that are rising their head, they will come to understand. Posing war, becoming a threat, will be disbanded immediately. All daimyos will no longer stand with such power to rule over and do as they seem fit. They will no longer be able to wage and control the major villages by using their money. Everything is going to change. And let me guess, Gaara said. You'll be the one to rule over this all. Before Naruto could spoke, "Have you gone mad?" said Snavy, as she looked towards Naruto. Her anger has been growing with this second pass by. What the hell was he thinking? Doing something like this, he was going to destroy the current system that he had. Something like that probably could calm everyone down, but at the moment none of them will stand for it. It seems like you're more foolish than we thought, said the Raikage. If you ever think that any of us will align to this kind of thinking. Hokage, Kazekage, this is your time to choose. To stand by us, or stand by this traitor to humanity that we can't allow to let live. I'm sorry, Naruto, said Gaara. Despite everything, he couldn't stand for this. He couldn't allow one person to be with such power. Naruto wanted to disassemble everything with the current ninja world. You will be destroying everything and I can't allow that to happen. You're right, Gaara. I will be destroying the old system and creating a new one. I know that people wouldn't understand. As Naruto turned towards Snavy, what say you, Hokage Dano, he said. Snavy clenched her fists as she glanced towards the other Kages, who was looking at her intensely. She lowered her head as she knew that she couldn't allow this to happen. For one thing, the daimyo wouldn't allow this to happen. And the villagers, the council members, would never agree with something like this. I'm sorry, Naruto, she said. I can't go along with this plan of yours. I understand, said Naruto, his face showing no emotions. Sasuke glanced towards Naruto. As, hearing what Naruto was saying, he was also thinking about that. Killing all the Kages. And change his ninja world. So someone like Itachi will never be born again. But the dope was his enemy. Well, it seems like everyone's against you, Naruto, said Madara with a smirk. Even if we're against him, we are against you as well, said the Raikage. The Teshukage nodded. We will not be joining side with any Akatsuki members. Madara simply smirked. I figured that much. But it doesn't matter now, does it? Because war is on the horizon. The beginning of the end is going to be starting. Which side is going to be coming out on top, he said. 3 sides. Lots of death. Which one of us will reign supreme at the end? Well, it doesn't matter. Come, he said. What? I thought we were here to kill the brat, said Kisame. This is not the time or the place, Kisame. Don't worry. You will have your time to kill him. But not yet. For now, let him think that he can win, said Madara, as he glanced towards Naruto. Just because you have those eyes, you think that you're untouchable. Soon enough you will understand that you know nothing, and you understand nothing. This world of yours will never be created. The only thing that will happen is me getting what I want. He smirked towards Kage, not like they could see it though. I wish you a wonderful war, he said. Don't worry, despite you not wanting my help, I want you to win as well, after all. He has been a thorn in my side for far too long. So you will be having aid, even if you want it or not. Well, we don't have to be on the same side. But we will make sure that you fall, he said, glancing towards Naruto. With that, a swirling vortex appeared behind him as he sucked him, Sasuke, and Kisame away. Naruto, don't do this, said Tsunade. You can still stop all of this madness. He is the real threat here. Don't go along with this plan. This is stupid and idiotic. You will do so much. And there is no going back if you start this. Please, I beg you, she said. As Naruto glanced towards her, with a sympathetic look on his face. I'm sorry, Bachan, he said. Tsunade felt her heart flutter at those words. It's been so long since he called her that. As she felt all the pain and anger and regret. When she remembered hearing that he went off by himself, and that they couldn't find him. But this is unavoidable, said Naruto, as he turned his back to her and looked towards the Mizukage, the Raikage, and Teshukage. I know the 3 of you want me dead personally, but that won't happen. The moment you 3 are ready to start this, I'll be ready. I have already made Kira repent for what it did to Uzu. Kumo and the stone are left, and I'll be sure to visit there once I'm done with this war. At the last moment when you think that you're safe, when you think that everything is over, I'll be there. And I'll destroy everything, said Naruto. As he looked up in the sky, well, the building was in his path, so he looked up in the ceiling. There's one more thing I have to take care of. Something I've been putting off for the longest while now. Don't think that you're escaping, the Raikage said, as he moved forward, only for him to move out of the way, as it was a distraction. As Naruto looked up to see the Teshukage building a particle star as he fired it. The beam came towards Naruto, only for Naruto to raise his hand. As it was absorbed, the Mizukage wasted no time. As she flipped through hand sign, she then spew out a massive wall of lava. Kazekage now, she said, as Gaara-san lashed out to capture Naruto. It wrapped around Naruto's waist as Naruto blocked her lava with his other hand, absorbing the chakra from it. Hokage, he's open! The Raikage said towards her. Tsunade clenched her fists as she leaped forward. I'm sorry, brat, she said. It's better if she ended by herself, It's better if she took on all responsibility to stop him from doing this crap. By ending this herself as she charged her fist with chakra. As a single tear slipped from her eye, her fist came straight towards his face. But before it could connect, there was a surge. Boom! A massive explosion, blowing away the sand and lava and the particle style. The entire room collapsed as all samurais were blown back. Mifune leaping away from the destruction of the bodyguards as well. Kakashi got back up as he narrowed his eyes, trying to focus. As Naruto blew a hole through the roof and flew out, he was gone. Guy and the others calmed themselves. He was gone. Damn it. Kakashi watched his student fly away as he watched the other one went off earlier. He felt so terrible. He's really failed as a sensei, didn't he? Nothing but a complete utter failure. Huh. Minato would think that he was a joke. Everyone would think that he was a joke. Yeah, a real joke. Meanwhile, Naruto made his way straight towards Konoha. He's been putting off this for too long. It's time that he buried that man 6 feet under for what he did to Kenny and Hana. As Naruto shoot forward even more. Meanwhile, back at the meeting place, the place was a complete wreck now, as the rest of the walls had collapsed in on itself, forcing them all to go outside. Well, this has surely become a bigger problem than we thought. We have no clue where Madara stands in this, even with his help on the battlefield. Naruto Uzumaki has shown to be immensely powerful, able to hurl meteors from the sky. And Madara is another threat. We don't know what he truly poses, or if he is truly Madara, or what he exactly wants. This Gedo statue, this Jubei. As the Raikage had a determined look on his face, it doesn't matter. First thing first, we will mobilize our forces to overwhelm and crush Naruto Uzumaki. Then we will deal with this Madara. Are all of you with me? He said. The Mizukage nodded. Oniki nodded as well. Hokage Dano, Kazekage Dano, I will not allow Naruto to destroy the world, said Gaara. As they turned towards Nadi, as Guy and Kakashi looked towards her, they could tell that she was in immense pain, mental pain, by just thinking about this. I will end him myself and free him from his suffering and all the pain he's going through, she said to herself before looking up. Yes, I mean, she said, as Mifune nodded as they start to go over their plannings. Meanwhile, Danzo was currently in his hideout. He had no idea how things were going at the meeting, but he knew that everything was set in motion. Soon enough, that boy would be left on guard and wide open, and then you would take control of him using the Kodemesukami, and you'll have the 9 tails and that boy on his side to crush his foes, to wipe his enemy off the map. And Konoha will reign supreme. Konoha will be the one in control of the elemental nations, ruling over the other 4 great nations. Well, what was left of Kirin? Not even the sand will be their ally anymore. Konoha will rule on the top. Konoha will be supreme and be in charge of everything. That brought a smirk to his face as he saw himself sitting on the pedestal as the one and only ruler. Even after his death, it will be passed down to his offspring. Yes, that was another thing. He was getting old. He needs to bore a child, a suitable female, and raise that child to take over once he's gone, to ensure that Konoha still rule over the world even after his death. As he smirked to himself. Time skip, hours later. It took days for Tsunade and the group to make their way towards the land of iron. But for someone like Naruto who was flying and moving at such tremendous speed, it only took him a few hours. Naruto landed. Zetsu betrayed him, but he at least gave him information that was useful now. As he was currently in the woods that surrounded Konoha, his eyes were scanning the entire place, before his serpents came from his back as they went down to the ground. They could literally feel the chakra system. They could feel all the chakra moving around in the area as they started shaking in excitement. Despite Root not being so numbered, there was a few special shinobi down there, as he could feel the cold and detach, feeling their chakra. It was like they had no emotion at all. True monsters. Well, perhaps He's been turning off his emotion recently to do certain things. But still, at least he felt. But his dragon could sense it in their chakra. There was nothing there. It was like they had no mind of their own. They were just robots. Naruto's tails was let out, as all of them turned hardened. The fur turning silver as they stabbed into the earth, breaking it apart, ripping a huge chunk of earth out of the ground. As an entrance was shown, Naruto created his own entrance. He broke down. He was stopped by a large metal slab that was there. It was like an underground bunker. He placed his hands on it as he started to heat up his hand, to the point where his hand became so hot it literally melted right through it. As the metal started to melt down, dropping down. As he landed in the underground chamber, it took a while for his feet to hit the ground, but he finally landed. As he looked up, the hole that he created could be barely seen from here. Pure darkness. His serpents came from his back as he started guiding towards the chakra system. As he made his way, as he knew that he was being followed, the moment that he stepped in here, suddenly, he tilted his head as a katana passed his neck. As he grabbed the tip of it, as he snapped it and turned around, driving the katana tip right through the skull of the person. The body dropped as he stepped forward. He arrived in a room as he was surrounded. 20 of them, their masks over their face. Flash steps said Naruto. The moment he muttered that word, it only took seconds as Naruto moved off. Kaido was the one that taught him this ability, as it worked perfectly with his Rinnegan. Kaido didn't have the large reserves of chakra that Naruto did, but Naruto created a path along to stable the ability. Focusing chakra towards his legs, he was moving at a speed that the human eye could barely follow. At the moment, none of them could see him. When Naruto re-emerged a second later, at the entrance of the other path, all of their bodies dropped. As he continued to walk, this would put a dent in anyone else's reserves. It even caused Naruto a lot of chakra, but because he was a chakra powerhouse, it didn't dent him that much. As he made his way down the hall, not caring that he was being followed, and constantly attacked as his tails came out, slash and rip. Meanwhile, this was not accounted for, as Danzo never expected this at all. But this was perfect. He was coming right into his trap. Danzo unhooked the sealing gauntlet on his arm, as a giant golden bracer dropped to the ground. As his arm could be seen in full display as he released the sling. He knew that it wouldn't be easy to just control the boy's mind with the Kodomasukami. He'll have to bring him down a peg. And with this ability, as he looked toward his hand, where eyes could be seen, all of them Sharingan eyes, Danzo knew that he could do it. As he waited, it's well due time that he showed this boy that he is not the strongest, walking around, thinking that he's some sort of god. Danzo smirked as he sat down in his chair waiting. Bodies were sent all over the place as a force rippled through the headquarters. Danzo was surrounded by at least 100 root ninjas, as all of them had came in here, as Danzo was on a pedestal, high up. As his chair was comfortable, as he leaned back, his arms resting on the bracers. The metal door that was there started to crank and twist until it was blown off its hinges. As footsteps could be heard, Danzo saw the red metal glistening in the small amount of light that was down here as Naruto stepped in. So, you came here yourself, said Danzo, being the first one to speak. I have to say this was unexpected. How did you even know about me? I know about you a long time now, Danzo, said Naruto. After all, you were the one that caused all of this. You were the one that petitioned to have me banished from Konoha. You were the ones that killed my friend. Well, if this means anything, they were after you. But your friends got in the way, so they suffered the punishment. Yes, and you went back and you had your friends, these drones, bury the entire village, killing everyone there. Couldn't have any evidence, said Danzo. Let me guess, you're here to kill me now and get your revenge. I've been holding this off because I wanted to make sure I have everything in order, so when I kill you I could enjoy every single moment of it, said Naruto. I want you to suffer. I want you to feel every ounce of pain that I felt. I want to rip you to shreds. I want you to see while I'm killing you. Those are quite dark words. Are you sure you can back them up, said Danzo. After all, stepping in here like a fool will only get you killed. Naruto stepped forward as Danzo smirked. Danzo's eyes narrowed a bit when he noticed the seal on the ground did not work. There was a paralyzing seal right there, but Naruto stepped right through it. He then saw smoke coming from the ground. Fuin Jutsu. You really think that would work against me, said Naruto. Fu. Toru. Now, said Danzo. Two Anvus rushed forward out of the army of root agents. As they came towards Naruto, one of them removing his gloves. Naruto saw the purple color in the man's hand. The man tried to touch him, but Naruto sent his tail after him, but the man twists and launched himself towards him. As he tried to grab Naruto once again, all for Naruto to sidestep the man. It was then that Naruto was grabbed by something unnatural, not an arm or anything, but by a mind control jutsu. Fu, the Yamanaka, was on the ground in his family's special style as he just invaded Naruto's mind. Toru was just a distraction. Fu was confused where he was. He didn't understand. He was in a dark chamber. He should be in control of the boy's body, but he was in a dark, strange chamber. Fu looked up as he saw a massive cage. Inside, swirling chakra. Red chakra that was just swirling around. Wait, is this? But if it is, where's the... He felt a hand on his shoulder. You know, you were quite stupid to enter a Jinchuriki's mind. Fu felt something as he looked down in shock. As Naruto's hand ripped through his chest. Before Naruto's hand ignited in a red flame, Fu screamed back in the real world. Fu panted as he fell down. Toru launched towards Naruto to incapacitate him. He could remove the poison later, only for him to be impaled right through the stomach by one of Naruto's tails. He looked down, so fast. He quickly reached to touch it, but the moment it did, the tail was like solid rock, and his ability wasn't working. Only for Naruto to spin around and slice the man's head off with his bare hand that was coated in wind chakra, as he thrust the body aside. Another tail extended and grabbed Fu by the neck and picked him up. Snap! His neck was broken as he was tossed to the side. As Naruto looked at the other 100 root ninjas. Is this all you have to offer? I wanted you to find out. I wanted you to understand that all of your veins, all of your work and all of your planning was for nothing. Because it's all gonna mean nothing today when I finally kill you. Danzo narrowed his eyes. This was becoming more complicated than he thought. He was sure that Fu had him there, but the boy broke out of it in just a single second. It didn't matter though, he was sure that Fu still had this in the bag. It was only a matter of time, he said to himself with a smirk. Bring him down, but make sure not to kill him, said Danzo. All of his root moved as he came in, only for Naruto's eyes to twinkle just a bit. And boom! Bodies were smashed in the wall with so much force that they literally explode when they did. As Naruto had so much pressure at that time, bodies were squished as the force being pushed out of him forced Danzo to move. As his throat was torn to pieces, all of the roots were embedded in the wall. Two hands came out of Naruto's shoulder from that short path. Before they turned the cannon, they started charge chakra at the end of them before he released it. Boom! The entire village shook outside. Meanwhile, Jiraiya was currently in the office of the Hokage, as he was staying for Snivy until she arrived, when he felt the tremor in the village. Anvus, he said. What the hell was that? The Anvu commander came in. We will check immediately, Jiraiya-sama, he said. And with that they flashed away. Jiraiya moved towards the window, as he had a bad feeling. What the hell was going on? He really needed to know. Meanwhile, Danzo stood in shock. Hundreds of root agents wiped out within seconds. The few remaining on the ground. Naruto raised his hand as they were all pulled towards the center. As he slammed both hands together, their bodies started to merge into each other. He used force, so much force their heads, their skulls, their bones snapped and they started to push into each other until they were nothing but a ball of meat. As he tossed it towards Danzo, who leaped out of the way, it smashed a hole through the wall with so much force. Danzo stood there. He knew that the boy was powerful and whatever eyes he had, he was powerful, but to this degree. After all, if someone could pull a meteor from the sky, they were surely powerful. He cursed that his loss of his root agents. Now he will have to start all over again. But it didn't matter with him. He should be enough to cover his entire organization. "This is your end, boy," said Danzo as he shot forward, his arm extended to grab Naruto. Only for Naruto to grab him by the throat and smashed him in the wall. Danzo coughed up blood as he smirked. He then took in a deep breath, but Naruto tossed him as he flipped and landed on his feet. "Flash step," said Naruto. Danzo dropped to his knees as Naruto appeared behind him. A massive hole slashed in his chest. He was then brutally kicking him back as his head smashed against the ground. Naruto grabbed the man by his small patch of hair before swinging him. Boom! He smashed in the wall. Naruto did not care what those Sharingans were for. He only wanted the man to suffer and pay for what he did. He drove a tail into Danzo's leg. Danzo screamed out in pain as he drove a tail in the other before two arms pulled back Danzo's hand and started twisting him. As they pulled him so hard, something snapped as Danzo cried out. His spine snapped. As Naruto leaped and jumped into his back with so much force, the ground shook. Naruto picked his head up and beat it several times in the earth before picking up by his neck as he smashed his face into the wall. Blood exploded from Danzo's nose, mouth, everything. The man was nothing but a bloody mess as Naruto tossed him before a tail shot forward and impaled him through the chest. Another tail shot forward and impaled him as Naruto let his tail expand, ripping his body to shreds. Naruto stood there, a small smile coming on his lips after that brutal act, that brutal execution. He felt so much lighter now. After everything, he just wanted to see that man dead, but he wanted to put him through hell first. As Naruto let his guard down, thinking that he just accomplished it, that was the wrong thing to do, when suddenly Naruto looked down. There was a wind blade protruding through his stomach. You thought I was dead? That was a mistake. As Danzo pulled the blade back as Naruto fell down to his knees, Danzo quickly ripped away the bandage as he spun around. He grabbed Naruto by the throat and lifted Naruto's head. "Koremasukami," he said, as his eyes connected with Naruto's. Danzo smirked when he saw a Sharingan-like pattern appear in Naruto's eyes. The Rinnegan was still there, but a Sharingan-like pattern appeared before it was gone. Danzo then stepped away. "That was easier than I thought," he said. "Now, Uzumaki and Naruto, a stab like that can't keep you down. Rise." Naruto slowly got to his feet, making Danzo smirk. As he started to laugh, he found the entire situation amusing, as that brought to that laughter from him. It's been a while since he enjoyed such a good laughter. This boy surely put him through a beating. If he did not have the Izanagi, he would have surely been dead. But that was for naught, as he wasn't dead. And now he has the most greatest weapon in the elemental nation, which he will use to conquer it. Now, from now on, Danzo was surprised when he was grabbed by the throat and lifted off his feet. As he blinked in confusion. How? He said. As Naruto opened his eyes fully towards Danzo. "You think your stupid mind game would work against me? You think those lesser eyes can control me," said Naruto. Danzo's worst fear came through. When he heard about the boy's eyes, he thought of this, but he thought that nothing could overpower the power of Koremasukami. How was that even possible? As Naruto withdrew a serpent from Danzo's back, Danzo narrowed his head around a bit. "What have you done?" he said. "So that's how you kept on coming back." Naruto stabbed his other two serpents within Danzo, the third one protruding through his chest. But Danzo felt no pain. They weren't harming him. Danzo started to scream something was wrong as Naruto smirked before he threw Danzo to the ground. Danzo blinked as all the eyes on his arm suddenly closed. Even the eye that he had closed as well. He had used the Koremasukami. How? Danzo said in true utter fear. You didn't do your research, said Naruto. I'll give you that bit of information. You see, these eyes of mine gave me this ability to mess with people's chakra system and their network. By these, said Naruto as he brought out all of his serpents. I just strip your chakra network down to nothing, completely removing it out of the equation. So at the moment, I cut every single tendons of your chakra towards those eyes of yours. Well, after reading your mind, you're one twisted dark fellow, you know that. Even worse than me, I must say. And you think you're doing it for the sake of Konoha. Pathetic, said Naruto. But it doesn't matter. I know how your ability work, and I would have to kill you until all of those eyes are closed. But now, you're nothing but an old, shriveled up elder. No strength, no power. Danzo tried to crawl away, only for Naruto to kick him right in the face, breaking his nose as he slammed into the wall. He cried out in pain. Without chakra reinforcing his old bones, it was so much more painful. Naruto reached into his cloak as he pulled a scroll. As he released something from the scroll, it was a small pocket knife. This gift was given to me by Hannah and Kenny to go hunting when we used to catch rabbits and deer. I always kept it with me. I think it will be just, said Naruto as he gripped the knife in a cutting motion, for this to be the thing to end your life. Danzo didn't protest as he looked at Naruto. He knew there was no way in bloody hell this boy would ever give him sympathy. As Naruto proved that by throwing it, it ripped into his shoulder as it pinned him to the wall. Naruto came over and stomped into Danzo's face several times before he ripped the knife out of him. As he ripped Danzo's shirt and started to slash at the man's body and slash at his face, Danzo couldn't help but scream as the pain was unbearable. Naruto slashed deep scars into his body. Danzo was left a bloody, panting mess. He was gonna die. After all, this is the way he go out. He couldn't be... Danzo, he saw one of Naruto's serpents in his body. Suddenly, he felt a warm power rush through him. All of his wounds started to be healed. Smoke came from his wounds as he looked at his arm, his face even healed up. What did you... As Naruto slashed him across the face again. You thought it would be that easy, that I would let you die that easily. At first I just wanted you dead. But now, after going through your disgusting mind, to think you could control me. After what you did, you have no remorse, nothing. I want to make sure you feel every ounce of my pain, said Naruto as he started to slash again. As Danzo's eyes went wide. As Naruto wasn't done yet, not even a long shot. Meanwhile, Jiraiya and the Anvu forces land outside of the root base, as he had found the location where the massive surge of chakra was coming from, as they were going to investigate now. But guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to take part of this, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications you posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.